interrupt this scheduled programming to bring you a message. Divorce. Does it have negative cognitive effects on children? Well, we have Callista in the field asking the tough questions. Callista, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, Kenzie. We are here at the UW Fond du Lac campus with some students to hear about their experience with divorce.
We have Justin Chabel here for our first interview. Justin, how old were you when your parents got divorced?
I was 2 or so. I don't remember, but it was pretty close to 3.
Okay. How did you feel?
I was 2, so I kind of don't remember.
Okay.
But I do know, I have been told that I wanted to know where my dad was because they had separated and they hadn't worked out arrangements yet.
Okay. Did the divorce negatively affect your life? And if so, how?
I'm sure it affected my life, whether it was negative or not. I couldn't speak to that. It was, how do you quantify that?
Okay. Did your parents fight in front of you?
Nope.
Did you think or still think the divorce is or was your fault?
No, I was never told why they got divorced, but maybe it was my fault. I don't think so.
Did you talk to a therapist or someone you are close to about the divorce? And if so, how did or didn't it help you?
No therapy in the 80s.
Okay. Anybody else that you were close to, like a grandparent or cousin or something, friend?
Nope, just took it all myself.
Okay. Thank you, Justin. We are with Haley Rush, and this is our second interview. How old were you when they were divorced?
I was 2.
Okay. How did you feel?
I didn't really have any feelings because I didn't really understand it.
Did the divorce negatively affect your life, and if so, how?
It was hard because I still wondered about my dad, and I wanted a relationship with him, but there was times where it was obvious that he didn't want a relationship with me.
Did your parents fight in front of you?
At times, yes, but they were really good at hiding it.
Did you or do you talk to a therapist or someone you are close to about the divorce? And if so, how did or didn't they help you?
Yeah, so I've been seeing a therapist since I was 4, and it was really helpful because it made me understand the feelings I was having and kind of how I acted in different situations based on traumatic events that happened during the divorce.
Okay, thank you, Haley. We are here with Brandy Voigt, and this is our third interview. Brandy, how old were they when you were divorced?
My parents divorced when I was 1, and then my mom and my stepdad just divorced last year.
How did you feel?
Well, when I was 1, I didn't really know, but last year, I feel sad about it, because I'm a family-oriented person.
Did the divorce negatively affect your life, and if so, how?
Yes and no. I always had to visit my dad's on the weekends. I stayed with my mom, but now I have to visit my stepdad and my dad, and also my mom, so it's a struggle, somewhat.
Did your parents fight in front of you?
No, they don't. My stepdad and my mom, because I'm older, I knew what they were saying, and I know when they were mad at each other, but they didn't really fight in front of me.
Did you think or still think the divorce is or was your fault?
No, not mine.
Did you or do you talk to a therapist or someone you are close to about the divorce? And if so, how did it or didn't it help?
I just talked, when it was going on, I talked to my family, my aunt mostly, just to see what she thought about it, and I talked to my siblings, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, thank you, Brandy. We are here with Carmen Cephas, and this is our 4th interview. Carmen, how old were you when they divorced?
I was 15.
How did you feel about it?
I mean, I knew majority of my life that they were going to get divorced eventually, so it wasn't a surprise at all to me.
Did the divorce negatively affect your life, and if so, how?
I would say it actually was more positive because I went from the age of 7 knowing that they should not be together, and I think it was more negative than being together and the anticipation of waiting for them to finally get divorced.
Did your parents fight in front of you?
All the time, very much so. My mom actually broke a door a few times because of all the slamming and the fighting back and forth.
Really? Mm-hmm. Did you think or still think the divorce is or was your fault?
No. Never did. Never thought it was my fault. Still don't think that way.
Okay. Did you or do you talk to a therapist or someone you are close to about the divorce? And if so, how did or didn't it help you?
We each had to do a session with my mom because she wanted to explain to us kids how she felt about it all, and I still to this day don't actually understand why they get divorced or why they're even together in the first place. I just know that they were not right together, and talking to a therapist didn't really make much more sense to me than what I already had accomplished in my head by myself.
Okay. Thank you, Carmen. We are here with Dylan Ecker. Dylan, how old were you when they were divorced?
I was 8.
How did you feel about it?
I mean, it kind of sucked at first, but then, like, over time, I think it just kind of got worse.
Did the divorce negatively affect your life, and if so, how?
Yes. So, before the divorce, my parents were like, we did a lot of things together, and then after the divorce, like, they hated each other and always seemed to talk bad about each other.
Did your parents fight in front of you?
Yes.
Frequently? Often?
I wouldn't say too often. Like, my dad tried not to, but my mom has a way of getting you angry.
I see. Did you think or still think the divorce is or was your fault?
No.
Did you or do you talk to a therapist or someone you are close to about the divorce? And if so, how did or didn't it help you?
I mean, I have 4 siblings, so we were always kind of like open communication about it, and I think it kind of helped because everybody just kind of like stuck together through it then.
That's good. Okay. Thank you, Dylan. Wow, deep stuff. Now that we have a local perspective, let's look at it from a nationwide perspective.
Very young children exposed to separation trauma can often have problems in development, such as speech disorders. They're also often more physically sick than other children. That's right, children of parents who are together are 35% more healthy than a child of divorce. They are also more likely to develop or have learning disabilities. And this leads to further issues when it comes to school. Children will fall behind, and that gives them a lack of focus, and then they tend to be doubtful in their abilities. Jennifer Weaver mentions in her article with Meditation and Mediation about children of divorce is that they have problems internalizing, which of course results in them having problems externalizing their feelings. So they can't quite understand, which means they can't quite explain their feelings well. This leads to behavioral problems too. Children will often lash out, and very young children will often be colicky. In a study of teens going through parental separation, they also struggle academically and often attempt self-injury and develop substance disorders and also engage in sexual activities at a very early age. They are twice as likely to drop out of school than a child whose parents are together. Children, teens, and adults who have parents that have separated are actually 7 times more likely to have chronic depression and also have separation anxiety. Currently in the U.S., 50% of married couples end in divorce, which means there will be a higher percentage of children who will suffer with mental disorders or just negative cognitive effects from being a product of a broken marriage.
Thank you all for tuning into this segment. We hope you learned something from all the information that we have provided for you. And just know that if you are a child of divorce, that you are not alone. Talk to a friend, a therapist, a fellow colleague. Help is always there. Thank you, and have a good night.